What's up, guys? Nasir coming at you with another 2XKO video, aka Project L. I still say that that's a way better name for the game than 2XKO, but 2XKO is its official name, and I haven't talked about this game in a while, and I wanted to do this video because yesterday they dropped a video going over basically what they've been doing for the last 6 months since the last time we got the the open beta and we got our hands on the game, and they've basically made an hour-long video talking about everything that they've done, which is also including adding a new character and, you know, all of the technical aspects and stuff that they have changed about the game. Wow, like I said, showing us the new character, which is Jinx, who is a character that I am thinking about maining, and maybe we'll make a video on talking about her separately and her gameplay and stuff that they showed off in this video, because this video I wanted to do specifically for the people who were excited for 2XKO but maybe didn't have the time to watch an hour-long video. You know, they're not me, because I can do that shit and not fucking be bored at all. But for the people that maybe wanted a quick video talking over the important changes that have happened to the game, wow, you know, not because like the Jinx video low-key does take up a good chunk of the end of the video because they are explaining a brand new character and showing off a lot. So it's like, hey, I wanted to do this video to show the big changes and the big improvements that I think they've made for the game. And then, like I said, if y'all want, y'all can let me know with a comment, a like, subscribe, you know, show some engagement, and I will then make a video talking about Jinx separately. I've already reacted and seen everything that they have to talk about with the character, so it wouldn't be like, you know, an initial reaction seeing everything for the first time, but it would be more of a going over everything that she has, kind of like this video will. But let me know in the comments down below, like, subscribe, like I said, all that, if you want to see that type of video. But today, right now, we're going to be covering all of the gameplay changes that 2XKO has coming to it. So let's first start off with the control changes, because they have added a lot to this game. So with the controls, they've changed launchers and air and anti-airs to be the same input. Before, they were two separate inputs that were kind of confusing, but now it's one input that is an anti-air that has launcher properties, or a launcher that has anti-air properties, whichever way you want to look at it. That makes it easier to understand. They've changed the overhead and sweep inputs to make them also simpler, because people were sometimes having problems of running up and doing an accident over air when they weren't, or overhead when they weren't trying to do that. They've changed the assist input. They changed it to where like the forward assist would just do the it's just a regular assist call now, just pressing the button instead of having to hold forward and do it. So basically, a lot of these control changes are going to be fixing things that people were having problems doing with the controls, like simplifying the inputs for supers. That's another change that they've made. I'll try to like have clips from the parts they're talking about, showing it so that, you know, you can have a visual understanding of what they're talking about. It's global hit pause, and changed how assist enters so that assists aren't as fast, but they also just come onto the screen a little bit differently now. I'll talk a little bit later. I'll talk a little bit about that later, about how they've changed how assists work and enter a little bit, but that's in a different part of the video where I hopefully will section this out. Pulses no longer are also locked to a fuse. And if you don't know what Pulse is and you want to just have a quick overview of Pulse, Pulse is basically auto combos for the people that aren't as good to the game or are new to the game and want to just press buttons to get an understanding immediately. They've changed it so that it's not a fuse, so that when you're choosing a fuse for the game, it's not something that you are locked into, and now you have to have a Pulse fuse for your teammate and you don't need it. So it's no longer a fuse that you're locked into. Now it is something that you can enable, and it can be separated from the fuses now, so you're not locked into doing that. But if your teammate needs it as an option, hey, it's there now, and we can also still use some of the other fuses that they've also added in this. They've changed the parry and given it different animations, different properties and stuff like that. So I'll go a little bit more in depth about that in the later part of the video, but just making an observation change to it because they made a point of talking about it earlier in the video and then went a little bit more in depth with it later. And finally, like I said, that was the last thing that they changed, because before that was, like I said, the pulse change, which was something I think is a big change for the game. Now we're going to go to actual gameplay changes. They have added two new fuses though, Sidekick and Juggernaut. And breaking it down, Sidekick is a fuse that has the main character, so whatever character you are at point, whatever character you choose first is your point character. Sidekick fuse means that your main character does not swap and the other character is an assist So if you need an example of something like that to compare it to, you know how in Mortal Kombat 1 it is just an assist call that is not a playable character? That is essentially what it is. You have your main character and you have an assist that cannot come in and be its own independent character. That's what Sidekick is. And the reason you would use this is you can DHC supers like this. So how in Dragon Ball Fighters you can hit a level 1 into a level 1, this fuse lets you DHC supers, which is something you cannot do with the other ones. And you also start the rounds off with 2 extra meter for using Sidekick. And if you, for example, if you wanted to like not start off with Ari, for example, and you had Darius in the back because Darius has a better matchup against the other person, and you want Darius to be the locked in character so your teammate can, you know, be the one playing, you can swap it at round start instead of having to, you know, have to back out, cue them in the starting position. They give you the ability to swap it as the game is starting depending on the matchups. So I like that change for Sidekick. I think that's really good. Assist characters can help reduce the point character's damage in Sidekick. So when your teammate is getting hit, the person who is the assist that cannot come in can press a button when you're getting comboed, and it will lower the damage you were taking in an effort to give you more to do as that character, which I think is also a really good change. So that's everything that they talked about with Sidekick. Now going over to Juggernaut. Juggernaut has you play as one single character with no access to an assist at all, but you can chain supers yourself, and also you can snap in another person's character, similar to something like in Dragon Ball Fighters, where say I'm playing Darius myself and my team, or obviously since I'm using Juggernaut, I don't have a teammate at all. I have no access to assist at all, so it's just me playing, and I'm going up against 2 characters, and let's say their Alawi is lower, but they're the character that's in assist right now. So it's like, oh, okay, let me be able to snap them out, bring in Alawi so that I can do damage. If I'm saying her name wrong, don't shoot me. I don't remember her name off the top of my head, but I think that's how it's pronounced. But Juggernaut basically allows you to play as one singular character with no assist, no nothing. Again, if you wanted to compare it to something like in Mortal Kombat, how you can like not use your cameo in Mortal Kombat, you should just be a character on your own. Obviously in this game you have more you can do if that is going to be your case, because Juggernaut will give you a little bit more that Mortal Kombat you wouldn't be able to do, obviously, but that's just something to compare it to. And like I said, it has a mechanic similar to snapping in Dragon Ball Fighters, where you can in Dragon Ball Fighters you Dragon Rush them and you can tag out that character and force in another one. You were able to do that with the Juggernaut fuse, so it has an incentive of, hey, you can snap in and out the other person on their team and, you know, really fuck up their synergy or fuck up what they're going for, especially if they're the weaker player. Now boom, you can tag them in a situation to kill them, and now it's a 1v1, you know. Really can play with the mind games when you have Juggernaut on. Now they added a new mechanic called Limit Strike, and this can give you a hard knockdown or screen carry at the end of your combos depending on what you hit it with. If you hit 2 moves that launch you to the back wall, but you hit 1 at the start of the combo and then you end the combo with that same move, you will now throw them back at the wall, but now they'll be pushed all the way, I think, to the either other screen or the edge of the map. I don't know exactly, they just showed it off, and like I said, I'll try to show it on screen so that you can have an example of it, but that's what Limit Carry does. And then on knockdown, if you do a move that would force a knockdown, and then you do another move at the end of the combo that forces a knockdown, or the same move it can be, you then will force them into a hard knockdown that they cannot use some of their some of their like options, like forward roll, back roll, and stuff like that. You don't let them do those options because you're forcing them to a hard knockdown with Limit Strike. So a way of kind of like forcing your opponent into bad situations if you can get the right combo to hit the same move twice, or hit a move that does what you're trying to do twice. So that's what Limit Strike kind of does. Meter and damage have been changed so that meter now from attacks is set to certain amounts, which it was not in the past. Damage and meter were together and they were not separated, and attacks did not do certain amount of damage. It was kind of it was kind of a weird system to where you kind of were forced into doing certain combos to get certain amounts of damage, and like it didn't really lend to a healthy playstyle. So they've limited attacks that do certain amount of damage, so that now there is more combo variety for doing other stuff instead of just doing this one thing because it's the highest damaging thing, if that makes sense, and if I didn't butcher the explanation of that. They've added more wake up options, so like I said earlier, a forward roll, a back roll, and for the existing wake up option you had before, which was the get up attack, it now grants armor break. So you do not now have to get up attack and then get armor broken because of that one guy, I forgot his name, that puts the ice on his shield, and then he'd run at you on wake ups, and you would try to get up attack him, and he'd break your armor. Now you're gonna break his armor when he tries to do that to you. So now we have more wake up options and better wake up options. Assist call, like I said earlier, has been changed. It is now slowed down to 15 frames instead of the 10 frames it was before. So a little bit more reactable, but probably not crazy reactable. If you're looking for it, you might be able to do more to it now than in the past, but it's not a crazy change to assist like that. Now we're getting into stuff that gives the players more agency, or player agency as they put it. Dynamic save, which is now called break. It now gains a bigger hitbox over time, and blocking the break is easier to combo from now. Also, losing a champion will now give you 50% break meter. So they basically changed dynamic save and called it now break, and break now gets bigger over time, so that now when you're breaking a combo, or when you are going to use break later in the game, instead of using it like, you know, the first time you get hit, for example, it gets bigger and has a bigger effect to it, so it gives it more use in that way. And like I said, you also can combo from it now easier if somebody breaks and you block it, to then be able to punish them more, you know. So I like those changes to break, and I like the change to break from dynamic save. And they have removed Fury as a fuse, and just like how they did with I think it was called Pulse. Yes, Pulse. They now have Fury be able to be used independently as its own resource, but not like Pulse where you have to enable the Fury. It's just now something that everybody can use as a universal mechanic. And what it does now is Fury gives you a 25% damage boost and reduction when you activate it for 10 seconds. That's when you activate it offensively and defensively. If you're trying to use Fury in a combo, kind of like, I forgot what it's called in Guilty Gear Strive, but kind of that like get off me mechanic, but that also can be used kind of offensively. I forgot the name of it. Let me know down in the comments if you remember what it's called in Strive. But that mechanic basically gives you either a 25% damage boost if you're using it offensively, and 25% defense boost, or defense reduction, or damage reduction, not defense reduction. 25% damage reduction for 10 seconds. That's if you're using it like that. And your duo has to be the one to activate this. So this is not something that the main person will have as an option. And like I said, it can be done offensively and defensively, but there is also an extra utility for using it in neutral. So if you use it offensively, like I said before, you get that 25% damage boost, but offensively using this starts off giving you a wall bounce to be able to combo off of. So that's why using offensively can be really good if you get them to not block it. But if you use it in neutral, instead of it lasting for 10 seconds, it now lasts for 20 seconds. And something that Fury just automatically has baked into it is you can now dash cancel your specials and normals to be able to get some flashy ass combos and do some flashy shit. So, and like I said, using it in neutral gives you 20 seconds, so it's 10 more seconds, and dash cancels take off 5 seconds of the meter. So you got to be careful using dash cancels to not use up your Fury if you're trying to use it for a certain purpose or a certain combo. But Fury does have a lot of sauce to it that I can see players being able to use. Now, a big change, push blocking now does not cost a bar, because in the previous build it cost a bar and it was really limiting it in that sense. Now push blocking does not cost a bar. Assist character is in charge of push blocking now, but they do have a cooldown with their assist. So now you still have another way of kind of doing a push block manually as your main character, but we're going to talk about that later. But push blocking now, or assist blocking, or assist push kind of, is now a thing to where your assist will be able to get them off of you. free of charge, and it does not cost a bar now. So free mechanic to get characters off you, so you're not just holding a mix all the time and, you know, being forced into bad situations. Air teching, which was something that people kind of didn't really do in the previous build. They said air teching is now more automatic, so that now when someone's doing a fake combo in the air, you automatically will tech out of it. But to also give you an option so that you're not just getting comboed, you know, the whole time while air teching, you can opt out of air teching if you hold down, and this will now let you just fall instead of automatically air teching. But it's a mind game thing to it, because if you opt out of it and your opponent knows that, they may be able to combo you from your opt out. So it's a mind game you got to play when you want to opt out, when you want to air tech. Most people are obviously going to air tech and just try to block, but there is a mind game to it for sure. That's why they added an opt out option, which I like that. And they've also made a change to OTGs so that it does not limit your wake up options, because in the past you try to hit an OTG on somebody and you kind of forced them, like I said, they couldn't forward or back roll before. So like some of their options on what they could do after you hit an OTG on them, you kind of like were really limiting your opponent to put them in really bad situations. So now OTGs do not do that, which is a very good change. And they've changed combos to be shorter, because some people said the combos were too long, and certain actions such as not being able to call an assist after a tag launcher, and you cannot tag after performing a double down super, have been implemented as well. So those are changes to combos. Gray health regens faster now, so that you don't just sit there with a fat stack of gray health and just encourage passive play. So that's a change that they made. Dead assist, aka you can call your assist now more often after they die, because in the past I think they limited it to like 2 times. You only got 2 assist calls, if I'm not mistaken, in the early build that we were able to play. So it was like you call your assist twice and now you're stuck, no assist, no none, you're just by yourself. Now you can call your assist more often after they've died, which is good. So now the other person isn't just sitting there not doing anything as long. And super assist now has a 7-second cooldown after you use it. And super assist is a more powerful version of your regular assist for the people that don't know. And a last change to player agency that they said was super jumps now have more variance to them. So now you can super jump forward and float, super jump back and float. You super jump and go down, so that you don't get caught super jumping as easy. So you can try to punish them for trying to, you know, anti-air you when you're super jumping, because you're trying to, like, you know, jump in on them from a far distance, but you're like, okay, let me get down real quick so that they don't hit me, and then they throw out something that misses, and now you're like, oh, nah, I got you. So that's all the changes to player agency. And finally, the last thing we're going to cover in this video today is the visual changes that they've made. So they changed the champions collision boxes, the little pill shape that they have for champions, so that they aren't as close together, because they could get really close before to where it was kind of hard to see sometimes in fast motion. So they've made it so the collision boxes are a little bit bigger so that they don't get as close, which is a nice change. They've changed wall bounces to be slower and easier to combo from, so you don't have to be fucking like trying to break your hand trying to get to a character as they're wall bouncing, because before it was fast as hell. They wall bounced and they were falling immediately. Now it's slower. Now you have more time to get there, and it's an easier to combo it instead of it being harder, which is a nice change. They've changed handshake tag so that it does not allow you to swap if your assist get hit now. So now if you try to handshake tag, call out your assist get hit, now you cannot swap to the assist while they're getting hit. So another change. Don't know how I feel about that one. I guess it's a good thing, so that you are like forcing the other person to stay in, instead of it just being, oh, a free get out tool, you know. So in that way, I guess it's good. They've added a bad block indicator to show your mistakes. So if you're trying to block block low and you get hit with an overhead, it's gonna have these yellow shards pop up, so that now you have a visual indicator. And I think it also says it so that, hey, you blocked bad, probably on a replay, so that you can see your mistakes. You fucked up right here, you got hit like this. If it's a little confusing, because some of the mixing characters they're probably gonna be hitting in this game will probably need to be able to tell that. So good change right there. Physical parries now look fucking amazing, and I'll try to, like I said, have it up on screen right here. And they've added more flair to it when you have a physical hit to it, because obviously you can parry projectiles, and they aren't going to play this very flashy animation for a projectile parry to like take you out of the game. But the physical ones, like if a kid tries to run up and hit you, kind of like a Street Fighter-esque thing, where in Street Fighter, when somebody like jumps in and try to hit you with the air overhead move, and you parry and it freezes the screen and it does that sick animation. It's probably gonna be something along the, it's something like that. They didn't show it for like a jumping move, they just showed it for like a grounded move, so it's like, I'm glad that they added a little bit of flair to some of the things to really make it look cool. And then the final visual change, 20 minutes after talking, the final one is they've added a change for punishing retreating guards, similar to with parries, how they added an animation to make it look sick, to show like, hey, you actually like did something kinda, I don't want to say kinda high level, but kinda high level, for lack of better words. And it's like, oh, you punished the retreating guard, boom, you hit him, boom, here's the ability to combo and do this, kind of like punish counter in Street Fighter 6, where you hit a punish counter, screen shakes, the character's falling back in a staggered state, and you're like, you got the ability to do that. It's not exactly the same where they're falling back in like a staggered state, but it does have a visual indicator that you did get punished for their retreating guards. So that's all the changes, aside from Jinx and all they've added with her and going over her character. These are all the changes that they said that they've made to the game. In the meantime, holy shit. Let me know in the comments down below how you feel about these changes. I think it's a lot of great additions they've made and a lot of good changes for the game overall. We will be getting another playtest, they said, around April, so I'm definitely gonna be looking forward to that. We'll try to get some gameplay of that, because I've been like playing so much Street Fighter, I gotta like remember to make some content on that game, because 2XKO is actually something I've been looking forward to for a while. So I'm gonna make sure I get on that and do that, get y'all some videos on that game, and try to showcase Jinx, because that's who I'm going to be playing. Yeah, and let me know in the comments below if you're excited for 2XKO, aka Project L. I'll see you on the next one though. Peace.
I wanna be good, but I'm stuck being bad. I wanna get money and chill by myself. I wanna spend money, my family need help. I need me a girl just to help with the stress. Somebody to care, this hair, this rare, beware. My fault is heavy, this chain is heavy. I know they gon' hate me, cause haters is plenty. I rode in an Altima, burned out a Chevy. Those times were heavy.